Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another episode of All You Can Eat Chelsea. My God, do we have a lot of food on the table today? Get your knives and forks. Make sure that your bellies are empty because there's a lot to digest. There's a lot to take in. There's a lot to consume. And the consumers, listen, be very careful. Be very careful. Big up to everybody in the chat. Smash up the like button. Miz, my first consumer of the day.
Yes.
How are you doing, sir?
Consumerism is at a peak, bro. It is at a peak at the moment. Look, man, I can't keep up, bro. I can't keep up. It was a good, nice change of events yesterday. Us three, obviously, Matisse, you're on your channel. Younes was on my channel. We were doing the watch along for the Roma game. So it was a nice change of pace from all the Chelsea news. But yeah, it got destroyed. I wish Mourinho won, but it didn't happen. So it added even more salt on everything that's going on. Well, not really salt that's going on, but Matisse, honestly, I can't keep up, bro. I honestly cannot keep up. It's mad.
Neither can I, bro. Like, the news is popping off right now. Every single day, there's a fresh new face Younes that is being sold or being, personal terms are being agreed. Concrete interest is coming. My brother, how are you? How are you doing over there? You're like, you know what? I'm uploading at this time, and you see all of this. Don't even think about it. Yeah, I'm here at this time. Don't try and get me out of bed at 11 o'clock at night. That shit ain't happening. Yeah, I'm a married man now.
you figured it out. You figured it out because, like, if I start uploading after every bit of news, I'm gonna be putting 5 videos out a day. So I'm like, no, you know what? No, everyone will be there at the normal time, and I will dissect everything, right? So later on, you'll get my thoughts properly, but we're going to discuss here anyway. And firstly, before we get into anything, obviously yesterday, me and Miz were gutted because of Roma. The ref's a disgrace, by the way, Anthony Taylor.
Oh, yeah. And, what a douchebag. What a douchebag.
And secondly, are we not being told to support someone else? The intro has gone back to normal.
Well, he's gone now. He's gone, thank God. So, now that he's gone,
has left some recommendation, I think, though, Matisse. He's left some recommendations.
But now that Lampard's time is officially over, I decided to kind of try and start it with more of the upbeat music now instead of the depressing music, which was in tune for quite some time. Drogbaba, my brother. Talk to me. How are you feeling today? We didn't see you last week because obviously storms and whatnot. Good to see you back. How you feeling?
Storm is coming, isn't it? Storm is about to rock all of us. I'm just happy that we don't play football for 2 months now. So our mood will not get ruined. Definitely feeling upbeat. It's mad when you see the social media. First, everyone was calling for our players to be sold out. Now when everyone is getting bids and sold out, everyone is going bonkers. What's happening at the club? We don't have any players. So it's mad. It's very funny to see what's going on. And yeah, man, I mean, crazy times ahead. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? Where do we start? Because this is just insane. I think the best. Do you know what? I'm going to start from a place that no one's expecting to throw you off immediately as a panel. Win Stanley watch. People are claiming that Win Stanley is the culprit as to why contracts are not being, signed up, why the terms are being changed. Potentially, he's mashing up deals, he's botching deals. Obviously, Agate, there was rumors that we offered less than a third of what PSG have offered. I think it was 2 million a year, 2 million euros a year.
2 million euros a year.
2 million euros a year.
It's gone up to 3 now. Apparently, it's max 3 now.
Really? I read they're not budging.
Record just came out and said Chelsea will go as far as 3.
Record Portugal, is it?
Yeah, they're the ones who've been breaking all this news anyway. So I believe that's where all of the other journalists are feeding off as well. So I think Record's on point on this one.
Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. But yeah, apparently he's the reason as to why a lot of these contracts are not getting signed up, and behind the scenes, a lot of people, a lot of fans are saying that have connections behind the scenes are saying that this guy is moving a little bit incompetently. Now, listen, I don't know. I'm not here to do any scapegoating. I don't have a clue what's going on back there because that's boardroom information and boardroom intelligence. But how do you guys feel?
Come on, 006. Do you want another deployment?
Listen, me, Younes, we can run it back. You know, we can run it back with another video anytime if things get out of control this summer. I don't know how I'm gonna run it in the heat. Do you know what I'm saying? But
By the way, that Younes's bit on that video. What are you saying?
Unbelievable. Maybe what I need to do is incorporate that into the intro now. With a little bit of our collab there. But how do you guys feel about the whole Mason Mount contract situation and how we got to this point? Because we obviously have spoken about Mason Mount a lot of times on this channel, his level, where we think he plays his best football, whether or not we're too bothered about him staying or going, the kind of circus around his name. But on the flip side of it, in terms of the board, is anybody here disappointed or annoyed with the board in terms of the way they're handling contract negotiations right now? Because that's where a lot of people are starting to come from, that they're not happy with that point of view.
When did Ben Chilwell contract happen?
During this administration.
Oh, interesting.
Was Paul Winstonley in charge, or was he at Brighton at that time?
Let me find out. Let me take a look.
I mean, look, I don't know this guy. All I can say is, since this new board has been compelled and formed, I think it was Winstanley. When did that Monaco guy come in? Lawrence Stewart?
Lawrence Stewart and Winstanley were both here when he signed a new contract. Yeah.
Lawrence Stewart came in about January as well, or February, something like that.
They came in roughly the same time, didn't they? Or just
February, I think. Yeah.
So how many fans complained about the new signings when those people were bringing in all of those 8 new signings in January? Not many were complaining then, right? All of these players, oh, Buddy Shield, what a signing. Oh, João Felix, wow. Oh, this, that, the other, Noni Madueke. So no one's complaining then. And then the Chalobah contract extension, when did that happen? Might have been a bit earlier than them. But Thiago Silva, I think, happened in January as well. Ben Chilwell happened in January. Look, as I said, I don't know this guy well enough, but from what I've seen since the board has been formed, I think there's been more calculated decisions as opposed to when the owners were in charge, Bowley and Iqbali. They were just willy-nilly just doing whatever. This is why when Mount, that story that recently, that the truth that was exposed by, I think, London First, Todd Bowley before the World Cup, Mount, what do you want? 250, no problems. Imaging rights, have the lot. And then the new board came in January, and they're like, Mr. Bowley, just hold your horses a little bit. Let me tell you how to run the football club. All right, calm yourself down. And maybe this is what's happened. Mount, I don't know. Look, I don't want to blame any parties here. Mount's got every right to demand for what he wants, but at the same time, I don't think Chelsea needs to bend over backwards for every little bits and pieces. So even with Ugarte, I want Ugarte. Pochettino, I think a lot of you guys appreciate if we get Ugarte. And I do believe this 2 million or 3 million, whatever the case is so paltry. You do need to have some level of, dignity and some level of balance here, right? You can't just be giving players 30, 40K a week when PSG are offering around 80. Your disparity in wages is just mad.
Yeah.
But I'll have to say one thing. If it's not Ugarte, let's move on to the next one. Let's find the next guy. I'm not going to sit here and cry about every player now. Do you know what I mean? I have to trust the board. I have to trust Pochettino's judgment. And the scouts need to have more options available. That's all I'll say, bro.
Like, Younes, how did you feel when you see that Mount agreed personal terms? Because we were all streaming the Europa League final, watch-alongs on our channel. Bubble was streaming, I was streaming, you and Miz were streaming as well. And suddenly then it just breaks. Mason Mount's agreed personal terms with Man United. And for me, like I've said, I kind of already accepted that this was going to happen. We all knew that Mason Mount was going to go to a rival. He was never going to go to Spain. He was never going to go to Italy or Germany or France. He was always going to stay in England. And the options of clubs was Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester United. Doesn't really matter which one of those he goes to. Maybe Arsenal is probably slightly the worst because they're a London rival. But out of all of those options, we're gonna take a hit in terms of he's going to a rival, he's going to a competitor. When we step onto the pitch against him next season, he's wearing red. And if he dare puts a big tackle in on Enzo, I'm screaming at my TV, fuck off Mason Mount, like immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like that's that. And the same with Jorginho when he puts in a tackle on Enzo against for Arsenal, and the same with Cover if he does it with City. Like these guys will be playing in rival kits, wearing rival shirts, trying to take points off us. There will be no love lost at that current moment. But how did it really sink in for you? Like, are you shocked that he agreed personal terms? Because there's always been a little part of the fan base have a little hope that he might just agree because Poch and last minute hurrah and but now personal terms agreed. So now it's very clear willingly the player and the club want to make that deal happen. So how did that hit you?
Yeah, no, I mean it's mad to see it happen, like when it's actually happening, because before that it was just all bits of news. But when you see it in the flesh, like, oh, okay, this is actually on, right? Yes, it hits, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, and I think it's safe to say we all knew it would come to this, and I didn't have any like hope or anything. Oh no, he's gonna stay. Please stay. I haven't had that. So when it comes down to it, I knew he'd go to a rival. Now, the one issue that I think people have is that we're selling to rivals, right? And to an extent, I get that. At the same time, there is no other place that these players are going to go to. So there has to be a bit of realism here. And I think there has to be a case of let's try and make the most money out of it because that's the only situation we can entertain, or they stay, which we can't really have because, okay, we're going to get Ugarte and we're going to have Casado if he comes in and we're going to get all these guys. And then we have Enzo, and then we're gonna keep Cover, and we're gonna keep Mount, and we're gonna have like 15 midfielders. Like, no, there comes a time football works in cycles. You have to keep it moving. That's just how it is. But for me, with Mason Mount, those options that you've nailed, that you've put out, whether it's Liverpool, whether it's Arsenal, whether it's United, I was hoping it was going to be United.
Okay. And
that's going to sound mad because Chelsea, the one club I think out of those three. You don't want to sell to Arsenal because, yeah, as you said, they're London rivals and they're competing at the top of the table now, which is a bit more of a threat. You don't want to give to United because it's United, and United and Chelsea for years have just been like, yeah, just don't give them. They don't strengthen them. They don't strengthen us, except for Juan Mata. Some would argue Matic. And Liverpool, for me, that was the biggest one. In terms of Mason Mount, where can Mason Mount fit the best? For me, it's Liverpool. If he went to Liverpool under Klopp, I'd be concerned because you can immediately see how he's going to be used and his strength is going to give Liverpool a boost. I think at United, I'm not concerned. And some people are going to be like, whoa, but no, he's going to find his position. He's going to have a starting role. Ten Hag's going to do wonders with him. I think in terms of the way that Man United play, the players they have in midfield, Bruno, Casemiro, fair enough, but I think that what you're going to see from Mount at United is what you've been seeing from Mount at Chelsea. I don't think there's going to be much change. Whereas at Liverpool, I think there'd be a shift and be a little bit more concerned. Yeah, I think there'd be a bit more of a transformation, and Klopp would use him in the perfect way. I don't think you're going to see Mount in the perfect way at United. So I'm not that concerned. Overall, I'm not that concerned. It's sad that it's come to it. One thing that we have to say is we actually don't know what the truth is, and this is where I'm a bit on the fence here. I'm a bit neutral because we're hearing loads of stories from one side, and then we're hearing loads of stories from the other side. You're hearing loads of things from one side of, oh no, Mason Mount doesn't want to sign. Look how quick he agreed with United. It didn't take him that long to agree with United. He's not proper Chelsea, right? All of a sudden, it's Mason's fault, because he's had an offer on the table. But then on the other side, you're hearing from Mason's side of Chelsea haven't really entertained anything. Chelsea haven't put anything on the table for Mason to agree to. One's got to be false. But the thing is, for us, at least the four of us, we don't actually know what the truth is. So is it PR from this side? Is it PR from this side? Is it facts from one side? Is it facts from the other side? Are one side lying or one side not? We don't actually know. So the truth is, look, he's going to be going. I don't feel like Chelsea are seriously missing out on a lot. It's not like we're letting go of Eden Hazard in his prime to Man United here. If that was the case, I'd be fuming. Yeah. I was even more angry when we let go of Juan Mata because he was performing at a higher level at the time. Me too. Me too. Yeah.
To add to this as well, when people talk about selling to rivals, I have to back up your point here. Who were we going to sell to, right? So we need money, but more importantly, we need people to leave. And we need to do this quickly because preseason starts in a month. July the 1st, Poch official first day, I think. And people want the squad trimmed down at that point to around about something normal, which is 25 players. Now, I've got a video coming out called Keep Loan Sell. Very simple, basic kind of format. And try this at home. When you see that video, but try this at home yourself. Go through Chelsea's 44 players. I'm literally including everybody from Lukaku and Baba Rahman and Malang Sarr all the way to Mason Mount, Kai Havertz. Every single player, Andre Santos, everyone. 44 players, yeah? And try to go down to 25 with that group without getting angry about somebody leaving. Try it.
It's true.
Because all of these people that were yesterday going absolutely berserk because this player's leaving and this player's leaving and this is not my like preferred order of players leaving because I want him to go first. First of all, that's not how transfers work, but I want him to go before him. The point is a lot need to go. And you are going to have to be accepting and mature enough to know that there's going to be a couple that you may not agree with. If you think we're going to sell 15 to 20 players and you're going to agree with all of them, then your head is, you're absolutely insane. But more importantly, the European market, they have no money. Serie A, every time we try to do business with Serie A, they want to rip us off. They want to take us for foolish idiots. They want to say, oh, we want to give you a loan deal. We want to give you, a loan deal with no obligation to buy it. So unless you want to sell some of our most expensive and most commodable assets to Serie A teams who are going to mug you off, then that's not an option. Bayern Munich are not gonna go crazy for any of our players at the moment. They're looking for a striker, but they've been linked with Rice. I highly doubt they're even going to spend what they need to spend to get him. Real Madrid and Barcelona, these targets that we're talking about, Mason Mount, Cover, they're not in. Those clubs are not interested. So who are you actually selling to? Who are you selling to? And then at the same time, demanding that they're sold quickly and not haggling and wasting time. Because what will happen then is, okay, right, we're not going to sell to any of our Premier League rivals. We're not going to sell to any teams in the league that have money to give us so we can buy players that we want. Because I think a lot of people right now, they made all these lists, these long lists. And now that the lists have become reality, they're shitting themselves. But you're not remembering why you made that list in the first place. I saw a lot of players on a lot of lists and a lot of like big transfer fees totaled up at the end of these lists like an accounting spreadsheet, 230 million, 250 million. Everybody was cool with their lists in March, in April, in May. But now suddenly we're in June and the list is starting to actually get done and done quickly. If I want to give any praise, usually we're saying we have to be patient. Things are going on behind the scenes. We're getting things done, hopefully, quickly in terms of sales, right? That's what we want. That's what Poch needs. That's what he wants. But now people are shitting themselves. Now people are like, yo, relax. I didn't mean it. I was just joking. I didn't really mean I wanted all these players to go. It's just a prank. It's just a joke. No, this is not Mizzy. It's not Piers Morgan. It's not a fucking prank. We need to get rid of players now, right now. We're not outside. Do you know what I'm saying? We need players gone today. So you have to accept that. And funnily enough, when we're talking about Cover and we're talking about Kante in particular, Cover is probably our 3rd/4th string midfielder. Probably 3rd. If we're going to get a new midfielder or 2 new midfielders, he potentially becomes your 4th string midfielder because he's injury prone. So the fuss is of a player that would be sitting on the bench and is injury prone. Kante, he played like 7 games this season. The fuss is about not giving him, 300k a week next season or 250k next season? We've barely seen him this year. So I think the imagination is doing a magical thing right now, before I go to Baba, where the image and the picture of these players that we're letting go far supersedes what they're actually producing on a week-to-week basis. And their name and their weight and their history and their kind of stature is kind of what is making people freak out because, oh my God, these players are actually going to good clubs. But really what they've produced recently is nothing of the level needed. Now, I'm not saying that they're finished, that they're not going to go on to do something better or they wouldn't do something under Poch. But if everybody wants Caicedo and everybody was tap dancing for Ugarte or Rice, or how do you expect these players to come in if we don't move players? It's just not going to happen. You're not going to have a midfield of Kante, Ugarte, Caicedo, Mason Mount, and Enzo Fernandez, Kovacic for 2 spots. That's not going to happen. Anyway.
And the one thing I want to say, obviously before Baba, is I feel like the fear of all of this is stemming from Chelsea not actually getting their prime targets. Because I feel like, imagine worst case scenario, we let go of Mount, we let go of Kovacic, we let go of all these guys, Loftus-Cheek bounces, we've only got Gallagher left, and Ugarte doesn't come, Caicedo doesn't come. But at that point, I think we're in trouble. And I feel like that's where I feel like that's where the fear is. But best believe, and time will tell. Yeah, these players move on, which isn't ideal when you haven't got your replacements in, right? I understand that, but best believe if these players go and then we actually do get Ugarte and we do actually get Caicedo, people will forget Mount and Kovacic in 5 minutes.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Bubba, what do you make of the outbreak? You know that Twitter is the main cesspool for all carnage and chaos, and this is where you always tell people to find you there. So what have you been saying?
I completely agreed with what Miss said. I'm not going to cry over any more players if we miss out on them. If we miss out on Ugarte or Caicedo, let's go after the other players. See, it's like, you know that you are not well. You need a surgery, but when the day of surgery comes near, you're shit scared. No, I'm okay. I'm fine the way I am right now. So it's like that. So currently, all of our fan base is in denial. We don't want to accept that. We need a surgery. The club needs a clear out right now. For me, if Poch has even subpar players to deal with, I'm okay with that till the time the squad size is manageable. Then we'll at least be able to find out, okay, we need to get absolutely rid of these players, get in 3 more players, and then we'll be on our way. Right now, you don't know who to keep, who to sell right now. Absolutely, it's all a mess at the moment. And if Mount has agreed personal terms, let him go. I've always maintained that I am kind of in between with the Mount situation. I don't entirely buy this that he's a proper Chelsea. He's Chelsea born and bred, so he cannot, betray us and whatnot. So, see, football has moved on. Everyone needs to look out for themselves. If a better opportunity presents itself, keep yourself in his shoes. Like if you're working in an organization, no matter how organization good that organization has been good to you, no matter how loyal you are to that organization, but if a better opportunity presents itself, you will turn your head.
Yep.
And if the current situation is not working out for you, I think it's nothing wrong in making that switch, to be honest. So we get too emotional sometimes. I would like him to stay, but if he's not having his mind in the right place, then it's probably okay to sell him. I mean, we've let go of so many players in the past. I don't think so letting go of Mount will hurt us that bad. But again, brings us to the replacement part. I think it is very, very necessary, very important that we sign the proper guys because we have done this in the past. We have made some panic signings and it has, not turned out very pretty for us. Case in point, the 2017 summer transfer window, the Conte second season, when we got all those players, Zappacosta, Bakayoko, Drinkwater and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I don't want another transfer window of that sort. See, I would be happy if Mount stays, but the one thing that I am not able to get my head around is what is manager's stance in all of this. Is he willing to keep Mount? Does he want Mount at the club? Is he pushing for Mount to stay?
I think
is he okay with Mount leaving?
Apparently, he wanted him
I think
to stay.
Punch wants to keep Mount, but the
then
problem,
we should keep him.
But the problem is that Mount's contract situation almost overrides management right now because it's been going on for so long and it's such a now borderline toxic situation that regardless of whether Poch wants him or not, it can't change the fact that the contract negotiations have been completely messed up until this point. So the same issues remain the same, regardless of whether Poch wants him or he doesn't. The same issues that whatever's halted the contract, whether it's the length, because I heard they offered a 1-year extension, which was a mess as well. They've offered obviously 8 years, 7 year in the past. They've offered certain image right percentage and then change. So whatever the sticking point is, that's not going to change regardless of whether Poch wants him or not. They're not going to suddenly be like, okay, now Poch wants him, we're going to meet the demands, which they clearly always felt were too high. Another thing I want to touch on as well is the fact of when we talk about, I get why people are nervous, but at the same time, you can't have it both ways, right? People are nervous, like you said, Younes, about if we sell the players that are on this list and we don't buy adequate quality, then what are we going to do? And I hear that. And if we don't get top players in to replace these players, I agree. I'll be angry. But you can't hoard players, sign top players first, and then try to sell afterwards, because we've done that before. And we're either going to get lowballed massively because now we have to clear them even more because we've gone from having 44 players to 55 players or whatever, or 50 players. And also because Manchester City and Man United, if they are going to buy some players from us, if we don't sell them, then they'll go and get alternative targets. And then you may be stuck with a situation where maybe the interest, obviously Mason Mount's got loads of interest, but say Cover, I've not seen any links outside of Man City. Now, we would hope that there would be interest from other clubs, but say there isn't. Say it's just Serie A clubs now, and they want to do loans with no options to buy or whatever. And now you've signed Caicedo, you've signed Agate, you've got Enzo, and then you've still got an unhappy Cover, and you've got Carney, who's doing well, and you've got Santos, who's doing well at the Under-20 World Cup, and my brother Quesadilla, my favorite food, under-20 World Cup. Like, remember these guys as well. These 3 Under-20 World Cup players, two captains, I think, and one who's been showing what he can do in the Prem in the last couple of weeks. They're still here. So you have to get rid, and you have to take that. It's not so much of a gamble, but you have to kind of take that hit. Yeah, you have to take that hit that, we have to sell players, because if we're going to bring in players before pre-season, we need to have a lot of players off the books as well. So if we're trimming down the squad, it's going to come with these uncertainties. Unfortunately, you kind of just have to wait until it plays out. I don't really see the point of being pre-angry when the window is. I mean, it's literally it's the 1st of June. It's not even like we're midway through the window.
On top of that, we're not so far. All the news that's been coming out for the players that are going to go potentially, it's not like it's the players that we're like, oh man, not him. He's the one who's leaving. That's the one that I wanted to stay. Like, it's the ones that we're all expecting to leave. Like, either they've not been good enough or they don't want to stick around. So it's not like an Enzo Fernandez that's coming out of the blue and saying, I want to leave Chelsea Football Club. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a, who else? Let's say, I don't know, Badishil or Wesley Fofana. Let's say, I want to leave Chelsea Football Club, right? It's the players that we've all expected to leave the club. So no point in being, upset and angry, this, that, the other. Just embrace the fact. In coming back to the point that Matisse made about Younes saying that we do need to replace with quality, and I absolutely agree with that. I do. But I think we also need to understand the position that we're in without Europe financially as well, from a financial fair play point of view. And we also have to understand that overall, Poch has already said it's a very talented team already. Like, this is not some sort of a rubbish team. Like, you've got Enzo Fernandez, you've got Noni Madueke, you've got Raheem Sterling still, you've got Mudryk, you've got Badishil. Like, there is good quality still in the team. So it's not like you need to go out there and splash 80, 90 million for a player. Like, time you get smart now. Like, this is why, as much as I want Ugarte, and I truly do, and I know Younes does as well, if it don't happen, let's go. Let's find the next thing. My only concern is Poch wants some of these players, and he wanted Mount as well. I don't want to get a situation where I'm not able to deliver Poch what he wants as his first preference often enough. I'm having to always go to the second and the third and fourth, so on and so forth.
Yeah. With Poch and Mount, the situation, as you said, Matisse, earlier, Poch has come into the situation too late. No matter what he wants, he's come into the situation where that was already done, as far as I'm concerned. And it goes back to the point as to why Mount has been in this scenario in the first place. And that's we have to acknowledge from all the way back when we started talking about FFP and all of that. the fact that Mount is an academy player hasn't helped him in this situation. If he wasn't an academy player, he'd have more leverage. But the fact that he's an academy player and Chelsea are not going hell-bent on trying to keep him by all means, because they're from the situation before where they offered what they offered, and we don't know the fine detail, but he's going to get pure profit if he leaves the club. We haven't paid a penny for Mason Mount. He came from the academy. And right now with Chelsea and the financial situation we're in, they're trying to recoup as much cost as possible. Mount is going to be priority. Hence why Chelsea haven't gone bending backwards to just give Mount whatever he wanted. Because if he were to go and they get money, they're going to be happy. You know? And that's where I think the whole thing has stemmed from as to why there's been no agreement and why from that time I was pretty 80% sure Mount was going to be heading out the door. And I've said it for a while that I don't think Mount is staying. And hence now we're here, he's not staying. I truly believe it's that point. Poch has come in too late, but I agree with what Miz has said. If Poch now asks for, let's say, Ugarte, and we're offering him 2 million euros as a salary, whereas PSG offering him 5, and we're being a bit stupid here, then you know there's levels. Yeah, we've done what we've done with Mount, and that's understandable. But don't be stupid and don't give Poch Ugarte because you're not willing to give more than 2 million euros a year. I think that's dumb. Do you know what I mean? So there has to be balance, and I agree. Don't piss Poch off. Basically, you know, if you're going to let Mount go because he's coming too late and he doesn't have a say, fair enough. That situation's already done. But you have a good chance to get Ugarte, who wants to choose the Premier League and Chelsea ahead of PSG. Give him a reason to, and then Poch will be happy. So
let me go through the super chats as well because obviously there was a bid today for Levi Colwill. Brighton. You lot are funny. I'm not gonna lie, you lot are funny. We'll get to you in a minute. Previous seasons, board usually been holidaying in June, start negotiating in July, complete deals late. Happy to see we're acting fast. Clearout was needed. Player stands going batshit crazy.
I like that. Player stands. I think Chelsea, as a football club, probably saw these stands need to go as well.
Bro, this year they said fuck your stands. Jorginho, Mount, Felix, everybody.
I think as a fan base, like a majority of the people have this lust of, you know, academy players doing well. It's not bad in hoping academy players should do well, but we keep on banging our chest that Cobham is one of the best academies in the world, and we have absolutely nothing to show for. In the past, I don't know how many seasons, only Reece James and Mason Mount are the two players who have played consistently on a certain level. So if you see one of those two players going, it is bound to induce a reaction like that. That's what I feel. Like we compare ourselves with La Masia of Barcelona and the other academies around the world, but we have absolutely nothing to show for it when it comes to winning titles and, you know, players who have actually graduated from academy and have played at a level. Hardly 4 or 5 players you can count, and out of those 4, we haven't done it consistently.
There's a Champions League, but that's it.
Yeah, and that too, I mean, Reece James and Mason Mount were the only 2 academy players who were in the starting lineup, right? Christensen, maybe you can say he came on as a substitute for Thiago Silva. But apart from that, there haven't been many players who have been world beaters who have graduated from Chelsea Academy. So Mount was supposed to be that player. Hence, you get that reaction. Oh, one of the potential world superstars who was a Cobham graduate is leaving for Manchester United. Oh, hence the reaction.
This fan base is mad after crying for a squad trim, now losing shit over player sales. Also, man, happy that you survived the one chip challenge, brother. Never again. These man tried to kill me.
I saw that show yesterday, the day after.
Yeah,
bro, I fell for that, you know. I fell for that.
So did Turkish. I was chatting to Turkish yesterday. He was like, bro, how did you do that?
Bro, when you pulled out that black chip later on, I'm like, oh my God. I can't believe this guy played all of us.
Yeah.
Because your acting was spot on.
Do you know what I was doing as well? So this is what I didn't say. So obviously I had everything prepared apart from the ice lolly that I needed to turn my tongue blue. I did miss that part out because if I had done that, when they asked me to show my tongue, it would have been curtains for everyone. But I was also filming at the same time. So what I was gonna do was I was actually just gonna not snitch on myself, do the prank completely, get away with it. And then, because if I'd had food coloring, the chip would have actually been black as well. But I couldn't get food coloring, so that's where it kind of left a few cracks in the water, but a few cracks in the wall. But really, if I had done this exactly how I planned, I would have got away with it. I was actually filming, and I was gonna upload it as a prank the day after. I wasn't gonna tell anyone that I actually cheated, but unfortunately,
got away with it.
Bro, I would have got away with it if I actually planned it properly. That was a rush job. I only started planning that from 9 p.m. The show was at 10.
Wow.
If I had planned it properly, like the 007 video, we would have got away with it.
But by the way, the real thing that when you took a bite of that, like, is that as serious as how?
Oh yeah, that
would kill people, like almost.
Bro, I wouldn't recommend it. A heart attack potentially pending. Like, if I'd swallowed the whole chip, I would have been on the toilet the whole night. I know that for a fact. Like, bro, the chip looked like it would come off the ground. It looked like it had mold on it, bro. It was one of the most disgusting things I've ever looked at. Like, it was an eyesore. And then when something's so hot, you can smell it. Yeah. Like, bro, it was horrendous, bro. Like, it ain't a joke. That thing ain't no joke. That's a poisonous chip right there.
That's a poison. Yeah.
Wow. There ain't nobody that's going through that, and we're actually gonna give Thabz that chip in New York because he was getting way too cocky. So he's gonna have to hold that. But let's see what else is being said. Do you think Mount felt sidelined since Enzo? They don't really play well. Listen, I think Enzo's come into the team, and not only has he shown leadership qualities, according to Frank Lampard, but he's also shown a lot of quality in a dysfunctional team. And it has probably made a few players look at and think, am I really going to be built around the same way I thought I could have been built around, or the way people were promoting that I would be built around? Because let's be real, everybody said that was, high on Mason Mount becoming captain. And I always said to Mr. Vitamins that James, in my opinion, could be a better option for captain. But we're here to start fights. Okay, I saw people are getting very angry last night on Spaces. So listen, I'm just here to tell you that hold that. You're fucking wrong, you donkey. You know what I'm saying? But I know Miz just said in his last stream, don't call people donkeys. So I'm gonna retract.
Oh, look, each to own. Like, I just.
But more importantly, right? More importantly, banter aside, he's a player that once you play, and I've said this before, Cobham players, once they get a sniff or a taste of first team football, it's very difficult for them to understand that they could become rotational pieces and they could become, not first teamers or not starters if they're not playing to the level. And I've kept saying this, despite the credit that he deserves for the Player of the Year awards, nobody in this team has been performing Player of the Year level in a Chelsea team that performs to the level of a Chelsea team should. So even if you're getting Player of the Year, currently, there's still levels to go to because we are not Team of the Year, right? So if we're not Team of the Year in the league, in this country, then there are levels to go to catch up to De Bruyne, to catch up to Gundogan, to catch up to other teams. So you have to keep upping your level. Even though you can get all the plaudits and all the awards at the pitch and whatnot, you still need to keep going up. And Enzo coming in has raised the bar again. It's up the levels. Now, listen, I don't think from what I've seen from him, he'll run away from a challenge. I don't think he would have run away straight away from competition. But I do think a lot of people that thought he would be captain and thought he would be the face of the club, I think they were always going to be in for a rude awakening because this is Chelsea and this is midfield. It's the most competitive position you could possibly imagine. And yeah, listen, that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But I don't think it's purely on him. I think it's also on the people that kind of just assumed that he was an instant starter. We had it all the time, right? He's an instant starter. Build the team around him. He can't be touched. He can't be tamed. He's Miley Cyrus from 2003. He's absolutely fucking off the charts. He's generational. He's Johan. He's everything. Well, no, he's not. Because to be honest, Enzo right now, I know who I'm wanting to start in midfield. It's not even close because he's playing.
I do have to say one thing about the whole Mount, and then this doesn't just go for Mount. This maybe goes for some of the Cobham players and maybe, not just necessarily English players. There could be other players as well. But what I want to say is that I think the one thing we should all learn from this whole fiasco is that keep your, I know we like to hype up players and I know we like to big up the players, but sometimes I think just keep it as logical as possible. Like, yes, be a fan and be excited. But I think some of the backlash that Mount specifically gets is from players that hype him up so much. Fans that hype him up so much. Yeah. And it kind of went against Mount. Had that hype from those certain parts of the fan base wasn't always there and they were logical about him, who knows? Maybe Mount himself would be a little bit more sensible as to, okay, what should I do? How much do I need to, what is my value and this and that, the other? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there.
But can I add to this as well? Because you're spot on, right? There are people that have a level head, right? And they have a level logical way of thinking. But sometimes they get a little bit happy. And we all do. Do you know what I mean? We all like to poke the bear. Yeah. But I always say the bear will do more damage than you ever thought. Because your blue tick and your journalism and your YouTube channel and your kind of responsibilities to not take it too far. You poke the bear because today I'm feeling funny, right? I'm gonna poke those stands. I'm gonna poke those other sides, and I'm gonna be like, "See, guys, told you he's gonna be the future captain of a football club," or something just snarky.
Yeah.
Little do you know that what you're doing is not helping the player. You think you're helping the player because you're having your own little moment, and you're catching them in a good vein of form, and you're having a little poke at the bear. And you're getting those quote tweets. Oh, look, I just triggered everyone. Cool. But just step back sometimes and think to yourself, when you put that, are you helping the player that you so adore, that you so love? Or are you just trying to get one over others? And then when you don't, and then when it flips back, because now your tweet is resurfaced or, because now it's not going so much your way, you can't start crying about it. Because like I said, if you poke the bear, if you engage in that social media warfare of I'm going to poke the bear, I'm going to antagonize, I'm going to try to be a little bit conniving and deceitful and clever, and I'm going to try to, go up against some stands today as a stand yourself, then my brother, you're in the battle. You just don't understand it. You have poked the bear, and when the bear comes back, you stand up and fight. Don't start crying about it and running away now and say, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Come on.
Like Matisse, the minerals don't help Mount. That brother minerals, as much as okay, you truly back this player, I hear you. I don't think your support really helped Mount, man. I think you enticed many others to actually hate Mount.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what's mad? This is actually gonna sound crazy, because I know a lot of people look at minerals and go, there's a few things I agree with him on. Right? There is. We have to be fair.
No, you can't say that here. You can't say that here. But this is only a slander session. I don't know what you're doing.
Listen, no, what I'm saying is, it's true. When you go, hill and far and beyond like necessary to just go ultra crazy on not just backing. It's not even just backing a player at this point. It turns into propaganda. Complete propaganda. Yeah. It gets to a certain level where you immediately trigger the rest of the fan base to turn against you when you come up with that sort of stuff. For a player like Mount, it becomes not just polarizing, ultra polarizing, and that's not helped Mount in the slightest, because I genuinely think there are fans that would look at Mount and go, no, he's decent, I like him, but because of the reaction, they go, nah, I don't want him now, because I just hate all of this. That's coming my way in terms of how Mount is a superstar, and I don't think he is.
It's what he symbolizes. It's not actually
that's
him
it.
himself.
It's I genuinely don't think it's Mount as a player that I don't want to say triggers people or switches people off on Mason. I don't think it's what he brings as a player. I think it's the reaction around Mason that people detest.
100.
If that reaction wasn't there, I think you'd find 100% of the fan base would actually just respect Mason Mount as a player. even though they wouldn't look at him as a superstar, but they go, no, you know what? I like him, man. Because he is hardworking and he is decent and he puts his head down and he gets on with it. And that's what you want from a player. But he's not Eden Hazard. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not, but people make out like that he is. And I think that's where the disagreements start, and then the polarizing starts, and then you get a war, and then it kicks off. And it doesn't help when you get people that will just start going crazy on Mason Mount from one end. It triggers the other end. So,
and I hope this is the lesson we've learned moving forward, like with all the players, because we don't want to be in this situation again. Like, I hope all of these social media people, and I know this channel, Matisse's channel, and this particular show gets a lot of viewings out there. I hope this is a message that you guys can promote out there. That be a fan, of course, be a fan, but calm yourself down, man. Calm yourself down.
Let's go through the rest of these super chats, and then we're going to move on to a different player, because there is a big midfield exodus happening at the moment. CF says, do you think Mount... Oh, we've already read that one. Appreciate it, brother. I don't mind using Carney and Hall as backup. Interesting. We're going to talk about these guys in a second. Let's be real, 70 mil for Mason Mount and 35 million for Mateo Kovacic is good business. I think with 1 year left on both their contracts, I would agree with you. It is good business. Why are you up here describing Alex and Nini? Listen, I speak to Alex on a daily, and Alex knows. If you go and look at Alex's bio, he says
Matisse fights with him.
I'm as cringe as can be, and and he knows he's a stan. So this is why I go at him in his Twitter comments all the time. So this is why I constantly try to drag him. I think actually yesterday, funnily enough, I commented under, because he's always trying to drag me on Twitter, and I'm like, you know what? I've had enough of this shit. And now that a lot of his like most invested assets and he's invested in a lot of these particular players. Now that they're either leaving or they're not coming, Rice and obviously Mount, I'm definitely gonna start leaving a few comments on some old tweets here and there just to fuck with them.
I saw that captaincy thing with Mason Mount. Alex is future captain, and then Matisse after 2 years later. 2 years later.
Yeah, because he was also like, because Poch is coming in now, and you were the first person, or one of the first people to want Poch. Obviously, there's a lot of other people that want Poch. Maybe I was the one of the biggest accounts to want Poch. I don't know, but because I wanted Poch, he was like, it's about time you finally got what you wanted, so you can be slandered if it goes wrong. So I said, all right, fair enough, fair game, let's go. So there you are. All right, let's move on. He's probably going to Man United. That will be that, and it is what it is. Hopefully, we get as much money as possible. I'm very interested to see what wage and what personal terms are as well.
Me too. I can't wait for that.
Said in his latest video said 250k.
250.
Yeah. By the way, Man United love to overpay, transfer fee wise and wage wise. They love it. So I think we deserve it. So make sure that you don't cheap out on us now. I know that you got Wakehorse on loan and Sabitzer on loan, and you're feeling kind of brokey, but no, come with the money. Do you know what I'm saying? Don't play with me. Don't play with me.
70 million plus add-ons plus bonuses for every little bits and pieces that he does. Everything.
And you watch, people are triggered right now. The ones that are triggered right now, I mean, ultra triggered. If it actually comes out that Mount is on what you've just said, 250 or 300 plus this and plus that and plus that,
I hope he makes as much money as possible.
Yeah, to be honest, good luck to him. If United are willing to give that to him, then all the best to Mason.
Minimum
fair play, because he's a professional at the end of the day, and you have to look at it from his perspective too. But if he actually gets that, tell me Chelsea would have done the same thing. No chance. No chance. So move on.
100%. On the other midfielders, we've got Cover to Man City, we've got Kante. Still a pause on that new contract. As well, Miz was tagging me. I think we was kind of going back and forth on Twitter about this a couple of days ago. Loftus-Cheek in advanced talks with AC Milan. Instead of going through each of these individually, because you can kind of summarize them if you want as you go along. But more importantly, the overriding kind of concern for a lot of people is that it means that Gallagher and Kai Havertz are staying. So let's I guess talk about that and how we feel about that in this therapy moment here that we have, because I would like both of those players to be sold. I'm not going to lie. I want Gallagher to be sold and I want Kai Havertz to be sold. Now, a lot of people are starting to kind of entertain Kai Havertz as a secondary 10 to Nkunku under Poch. And I sneak peek for my video coming out later today. I do believe that if you're going to let Mount go and Felix is also going, I would be shocked if Kai also went as well, because they're all kind of players that would maybe play as backup to Nkunku, potentially under Poch. So that would mean if it's either going to be Gallagher that plays backup to Nkunku, which, Lord Jesus, I would not recommend, and or we're going to sign someone. So how do you guys kind of handle that kind of Havertz Gallagher situation? Like, do you have any confidence left in these guys going into next season under Poch, under a new manager, or you just flat out want them sold? Because I truly believe, as much as I do want our depth to not be players that I want sold, obviously, I do believe our starting 11, 12, 13, 14 players with no Europe and with just Carabao Cup and Premier League, that is the most important thing, and that will probably get us into the top 5 if needed, coefficient points, top 5, top 4, whatever, probably top 5. I believe that as long as that starting 11 looks bang on the money, I think Arsenal have shown this season, I mean, what do they have? 12, 13, 14 players that they truly trust. And then they've got the depth pieces of Nelson and Nketiah and Holding. So everybody's talking about having this big bloated squad. And I get it. I do want the depth pieces to look the way I would want them to look. But if we're talking about starting 11 and then 3-4 off the bench, that's what's critical. If the fitness is maintained, which Poch is big on, and hopefully we don't have too many injury-prone players. So how do you feel, Miz? I'll start with you with those two.
Look, let's banter aside, right? Let's logically think about this. Let's start with Havertz. What is it that Havertz has now played under Frank Lampard twice, Thomas Tuchel, Graham Potter? Like, what is it that we haven't seen from these managers that he's played under? Like, what is that makes you think now Poch is the guy? Poch is the one that will get the best out of him. Like, let's give him one more chance, one more opportunity to shine and see if Poch can. This is where my question is. Shubra saying you miss Bruno. Yeah, Bruno Fernandes as well. Bruno, I call him Bruno Fernandes. It's Bruno Salto, but he was only there for one game. But with Havertz, honestly, if there's an opportunity, there's a link now. Apparently, Madrid Extra has come out and said that Real Madrid are probably keen on him. Sell. I get it. It looks a bit silly. Mount gone, Felix gone. This is why I kind of wanted Felix to stay and wanted Havertz to leave. But I don't want Havertz to be, a backup to Nkunku. And I don't know if Havertz would be appreciative of that either. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a young player. He'd want to kick on in his career. And obviously he's got aspirations to play for Germany. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're a backup player. If I get a good amount of money for Havertz, like, I'm at a stage with Havertz where I've seen everything you've had to show, man. I've seen it. Like, are you going to show me a new trick now? A new magic trick? Why haven't you done it already? Why are you holding it? So that's where I am with Kai Havertz. In regards to Gallagher, look, at least Kai has some sort of substance in the sense that, okay, you know what? Maybe. With Gallagher, I think this guy's he's a misfit. He's an absolute misfit for Chelsea Football Club. Only thing that Gallagher has going for him, and I'm worried this is something Poch might really appreciate about him, is the guy will run. As Younes said in one of his videos, he's better off being in the Great Britain Olympics team.
Team GB, man.
Get medals. But medals.
Easily.
Relay race.
He don't need relay, Matisse.
He'd be the long distance Usain Bolt.
All by himself. He'll do the 4-man relay by himself. Look, can he improve his technique? How old's Gallagher, man? Is he 22?
He's 23, I think.
So he's getting at an age where I don't know whether you can improve technically. All right? You either got it or you don't got it. And at the moment, Gallagher...
Can I just be honest, right? You can... He is so far off technically, for me.
Yeah. If he improves... It's still 0.
Improvement is not enough. He will have to make massive jumps technically. I'm sorry. The weight of pass the selection of pass at times when he's on a transition or he's on a counter, the amount of times I see him passing it behind someone or out of play, the amount of times I see him receiving the ball and his touch is wayward and he dispossessed, he's just not, I'm sorry. And I'm trying not to be rude because I actually really commend the fact that he loves the club and he does really want to be here. I do respect those things, but you have to have the ability with it. And I'm not gonna kind of say, oh, right, well, just because you work hard and because you really want to be here, that gives license to be here, because there are players out there like Bernardo Silva who work their socks off and they give you the quality. And if you want to compete with these top clubs, you need to have the technical ability. It's all good even saying, and people say, oh, he can come off the bench and he can come and close down and whatnot. Again, you should be able to come off the bench and yes, make those the closing down and cover the gaps and the spaces. I don't even think he's a fantastic tackler, if I'm going to be completely honest. The amount of times I've seen him gives away stupid fouls as well. He's not a great tackler. So he's not even like as if he's giving me Kante interceptions and tackles in terms of the technique and the quality. Let's be honest. He's very, very messy in the way that he operates. He's a messy cook. If he's trying to cook up a meal, and this is all you can eat, Chelsea, he's spilling shit down his white top. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing marks.
He's embarrassing himself.
I'm saying, bro, you need to put the food back in the pan. It's not completely cooked. It's a little bit raw. Like it is. He is raw. Like he is. And for me personally, you need to be able to also control games. Like this whole, we're gonna run our socks off for the last 10 minutes and huff and puff and burn calories. I like that, cool, but also get your foot on the ball and control possession. There's a way to defend. It doesn't have to be run and chase. You can control possession. I'd love for us to control possession for a 5-minute spell in the last 10 minutes of a game to see out a game. There's different ways to do it. So yeah, man, for me, bro, it can't run. I agree with you. I think if I'm picking between the two, obviously I'm going to pick Kai over Gallagher, because Kai does work hard sometimes as well. But there was something you said in your stream that I agreed with. I don't know if Bubba and Younes will say the same. He is a player that seems to want to play in the big occasions. That is my problem with him. The massive games under the lights, Champions League, he's here. He will be there.
And that's the problem here, Matisse. It's the problem here. He's not serious about, like, this is why those donkey comments and this, that. He's not serious about life, this brother. He's nonchalant, not just on field, he's nonchalant off field as well.
Maybe a bit too much.
It's too much.
For his ability, that's a Hazard type ability you need to have to be that nonchalant.
Exactly.
Hazard could go and get a Big Mac in the morning, go to training in the afternoon, and not move a muscle. Probably stretch out his calves and maybe do a couple kick-ups and leave, because everybody said he was a bad trainer. So did John Obi Mikel in that podcast. He'd go home, and then on Saturday go and drop a masterclass and nutmeg about 3-4 players and get man match. That's Eden Hazard. You can carry yourself that way if you're Eden Hazard, because you're that special. Kai is not that. He's not that. He has to work hard. He does. And
the one thing that I guess that he has going for him as an excuse, let's say, is that he's been playing up front and he should never play up front ever again. Right? Let's be honest. As a 9, never again. But this is where the whole Poch thing comes in. He, at a time where he was at Spurs, he got Dele Alli playing to a level that now people look and go, flipping now, how did that even occur? Because Dele Alli's fallen off, albeit he was on this trajectory heading up at that time. Maybe that was the cause for it. But Kai Havertz, if he were to stay, needs to get ready, I think, to not be playing every single week. And Nkunku, if he makes a statement, will take his place, and that's the reality of it. Gallagher, however, to be honest, if I say what I think is going to happen, I think Gallagher will end up sold. I think a club will come in, and unlike last time where we rejected, what was it, a 40 or 45 million pound bid for Gallagher? How the hell did we say no to that? I don't think
he didn't want to go to Everton. He didn't want to go to Everton.
No, that's a good point. Actually, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. That's true.
He rejected it. But it just goes to show when the money's put down for Gallagher and it's on the table, we will accept.
Yeah.
So I do have hope that he's straight profit, and I'm hoping to God Pochettino doesn't get too caught up in the whole huff and puff situation and does.
I
see
hope
that.
not.
If the 40 million comes in, brother, please. If it's from a Newcastle, please.
But look
Please.
where that 40 million came from as well, from Frank Lampard's Everton at that time. And it's not a surprise that Frank's come in and he's played
true.
Gallagher a lot.
True.
Yeah,
He
true.
really
That's a good
likes
point.
Gallagher.
That's
He
a good
really
point.
likes.
Yeah.
And
We just
that's
need
one
to-
thing. One thing we have to understand with Gallagher, like Miz said, when you have players at that age that are not physically ready, they can eventually become physically ready. You can train that up, right?
Mm.
But technically, no. But you either I truly believe this at that age. Once you hit 23 or so, you either have it or you don't.
Mm.
You're not going to get it drilled into you on how to be technically suitable. You either have that skill and that ability, or it's lacking, and you're not going to get it. Simple.
But like, we wouldn't even like. People are very quick to jump on players coming out the youth team if they drop stinkers and they're not good enough. So why would we accept having to improve a player technically that's 23 years old?
Exactly.
That garners Premier League interest and has had 2 Premier League loans at Palace and West Brom and the Chelsea opportunity this season.
Yep.
Like I just don't feel like there's any need to give more opportunities in that respect. There is a few. There's this report from Felix is saying that he understands Chelsea absolutely want Caicedo this summer. However, they need sales before they can advance on the move. We spoke about that in terms of selling players first. Chelsea's plan is to offload Mount, Gallagher, and Cover in order to fund the move and make space in the squad. It's one to watch. I do believe Gallagher's up for sale purely because also Loftus-Cheek, AC Milan are apparently in advanced talks, and it's going to be around about 15 million euros that they're looking to get a deal for, to strike a deal at that kind of price. We know that Loftus-Cheek's not going to go for a lot of money. So in terms of raising funds, Cover, Mount, Gallagher are the ones that are going to come in with proper fees. Loftus-Cheek,
Especially Mace.
Yeah, especially Mason Mount.
Especially Mace.
He also says that he understands Pochettino has dictated he'd like to majority of the time set up in a 4-2-3-1 next season, which is what everybody kind of assumed. I'm told Kai Havertz is liked by Poch and will be given time in the 10 role if a big bid doesn't come in or Kai himself doesn't push to leave. So unless Kai pushes to leave or unless a big offer comes in, it seems that he's the option in the 10. And I guess Poch liked Mason and liked Kai, and it's one or the other, and Felix was never an option. So maybe that's the way it's gonna go. So fair enough. There you are. All right, let's see. So we've had the chat on Gallagher. We've had the chat on Loftus-Cheek. We've had it also on Cover. Loosely spoke on him, but how's everybody feeling on that one? And how do you think? Because he's probably going to go to Man City and do quite well. To be fair, isn't he?
This is the thing with Miz. We spoke about this yesterday briefly on your stream. I genuinely think Kovacic will go to City and it'll become a specific player. You know, there's players like Kovacic are specialists. You know, they're not well-rounded, complete, midfielders. I think he goes to Man City and he's used rotationally. I don't think he's going to be playing every week, but I think he comes in and he adds that little bit of spice when needed. I think you bring him off the bench or something and he offers you something. And I think City do need that, especially if there's the whole thing about Gundogan probably going and, a little bit of extra cover. I think Kovacic will provide it to them. Whereas at Chelsea, we don't need little bits of extra cover. We need an all well-rounded midfielder that's going to be our main guy. If City have that, we don't. So he'll suit City, I think.
No, I think he will as well. I think he'll definitely suit City. He looks like a City type of player, especially first phase, very press resistant, no problem receiving the ball. And they're not going to play him higher up. Like they will play their Gundawans, their Bernardos, their De Bruynes, their Grealishes higher up. Exactly. They'll play him in that second line just behind, next to Rodri. If they don't invert a Stones next season or whatever they decide to do, but he'll definitely be part of that first phase and just get it to the more creative players. So it makes complete sense. Well, like we said before, he doesn't want to stay. He's got 1 year left. I think people are actually quite shocked how many players have 1 year left on their contracts. Like, it's a lot of players. It's Mount, it's Cover, it's Loftus-Cheek, it's Pulisic, it's Hudson-Odoi, Aubameyang. Like, there's a lot of players. Kante's this summer. No years left. Yeah. No years left. Like, there's a lot of players with 1 year left. So what you either get a new contract or you leave. And I'm not really sure a lot of people would completely sign up to giving these guys new contracts. Like if I'm to say to you, Cover is very injury prone recently. He's not going to be first choice in a midfield 2. He's probably going to be third or fourth choice after new signings. And he wants about 180k a week on a 3-year deal minimum. It's not such a outrage then, is it? Legendary Villain says, why do Chelsea fans think you are getting 70 million for Mason Mount and you wonder why we banter you lot? Listen, you are Manchester United and you will pay whatever you're told. Exactly. Yeah? You are Man United and you will pay whatever you're told to pay. You paid 80 million for Harry Maguire, you're going to pay 70 million for Mason Money Mount. Yeah? He's called Money Mace for a reason. We want our money. Yeah? So don't fuck with us, all right? You come with that big money right now. You're a big club. You got big money. You've always spent a lot. You have no problem doing it. Anthony was 100 million. Sancho was, 85. Come with the money right now. Come play games with me. You know what I'm saying? Talking about we ain't got, bro. Play these games. You better stump up that cash. You're a rival. Pay up. This is Ten Hag's main man. Real Madrid is seriously considering Kai Havertz for the number 9. They better pay up as well.
No way. To replace Benzema. Are they high?
Yep.
But then there's gonna be so the player. By the way, can I just add? This player. What was that statistic? His XG. Let me get it up.
Oh God.
Oh Lord. He underperformed his XG because I know Lewis was going on about this because Lewis can't wait to see the back of Kai Havertz. I think he underperformed his XG by something like 50-something%. Let me take a look.
Wow.
XG underperformance this season. Kai sits first, minus 40%, so minus 4.6. Patrick Bamford, who we've seen miss a lot of chances for Leeds, second place, minus 53% for XG underperformance. Joe Willock, minus 57%. Eddie Nketiah, minus 50%. And Christian Eriksen, minus 80%. Those are the top 5 for XG underperformance this season. Kai Havertz sits at the top of that. If Kai Havertz goes to Real Madrid, am I going to see people say what I've seen them say recently, which is, see, guys, we should not let him go. He's been there for 3 years, but now he's going to Real Madrid. This is another Salah and De Bruyne situation. Am I going to see that? I think you might be muted, Miz.
Yeah, no, I had the heater on, and I know you guys can hear the heater sometimes. I had myself muted. Salah and KTP with the Havertz thing. Now that's mad. Real Madrid, come and get this. He's magic, you know. He's magic. Come and get this guy. Come and get him. Look, none of these players I will regret because I've now seen them enough at Chelsea Football Club. So if they go on and do madness elsewhere, kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. With KDB and Salah, we didn't see enough of them. And they were gone. Like, we didn't even get to know their full name. Like, what's their first name? What's their last name? Before we even knew that entire thing, they were gone. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, we cannot compare with those things. So I'm absolutely fine, man. Real Madrid, that's a strange one, but I'm not going to complain. Benzema leaving, and you want to replace Benzema with Havertz. I mean, Benzema, Karim Benzema, the guy who single-handedly destroyed us.
Just to add to that, I think the thing which we are not talking much about is we need to buy goals. We need goals up front. None of these players can give us goals. What is my expectations? Everyone was asking, what is my expectation? My expectation is to score at least 65 to 70 goals next season. If we do that in the league, we'll be in the top 6 easily.
How many
more often than not?
Season?
I don't know, for 35, 40, something like that.
That question
so basically doubling. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that's too far-fetched.
Yeah.
We scored 38 goals. Nobody got double digits.
Yeah.
1 goal a game.
Yeah. So 2 more than Haaland. Yeah. McLaren.
Oh, shit. Yeah. One goal a game.
More than Haaland. Oh my
2 more
God.
than Haaland. So if we are to score somewhat in that region, around 70 goals, so we need players who can put the ball in back of the net. I don't think so. Kai Havertz, whatever his profile, his role, his position is, he cannot score goals consistently for us. Okay, he'll score an odd goal in a cup match or a Champions League game, but we need a striker who can score at least 15 goals in a Premier League season for us.
Yeah.
At least.
But also, people have given so much criticism to midfielders for not contributing with goals. If Kai Havertz's best position is a 10, best believe I'm expecting goals.
Yep.
So, so people that say, "Oh, but Kai Havertz is not
He's not a finisher. He's not a finisher.
He's not a striker. He's only
And
there
I'm not able to figure this out why Real Madrid are going after Kai Havertz, because Real Madrid are one of the most clinical teams around. Like they can
It
score
might
a
not be
goal out
true.
of
Maybe
absolute.
it's
might not be true.
I'd be
Yeah.
shocked if it's true, man. Yeah,
Maybe
that's
it's
why I
not true.
laughed. I'd be
Seriously,
shocked if it's
because they have always banged on their players finishing those half chances, those getting those goals from out of nowhere. If you see that Vinicius goal against Man City in the first leg of the semi-final, what was that? So
But like-
they have been doing that. So I don't think so. Like if they would be going for a player who underperforms his XG so overwhelmingly.
But the thing is like I said, people are demanding goals from midfielders, right? People have said, "Oh, why is Kovacic not scoring from distance?" Kai Havertz, if he's going to play 10, he has to bag goals. Like that's not a position where you're not meant to score goals and you're just there to just look pretty. Like you need to score goals. So the same criticisms of him not scoring up front, they'll still apply if he doesn't score in the 10. Odegaard this season, how many goals has Odegaard contributed to Arsenal this season? Non-penalty goals.
2 against us. I know that.
Set the record.
That's enough. That's enough for me.
Set the record just behind. Set the record just behind Dele Alli. 15 Premier League goals from Odegaard this season as a right-sided 8.
15.
The same position. The same position that people will tell me that Kai Havertz has got to play right-sided 8/10. Right?
How many assists?
7 assists. So
That's a mad return. From
brother needs to be doing similar. Now he did play 37 games. Obviously, this would be on the basis that Kai Havertz would clock up the same minutes. But if Kai Havertz clocked up the same minutes, do I have any confidence that he would get to this output? Absolutely not.
No.
Because I've been watching him for 3 years. No chance.
Well, his XG, that
Especially
report that you just
non-penalty
said,
as well. Yeah.
The XG stuff that you just said, it probably mean he'd even blow out even more. He'd miss even more. The more he plays, the more misses.
See, that's why we need players who can score goals, who are clinical. And Nkunku coming in might solve that problem for us. He's won the Golden Boot in Bundesliga, but he scored only 16 goals. 16 goals in Bundesliga get you a Golden Boot.
I mean, yeah, that says it all.
And we all know what happened with Timo also. Timo, I think, scored 27, 28 goals the season before when he came here.
And I think for the Bundesliga, it's not been a strong season in the Bundesliga. Let's be honest. Overall, like
I think
Bayern Munich
got joint top, and he was injured for how long? 3 months, 2 months?
That says it all.
16 goals. Yeah.
I'm more concerned. I think technically Nkunku is a lot sounder than Timo Werner. His ball control is a lot more cleaner. And Nkunku has the free kick ability as well. He can bang goals from free kick. I've seen that with Leipzig. My only concern now off the back of that big injury. Nkunku, you think Premier League is going to be walking the park like the Bundesliga? Hey, you just run into field, brother. Defenders are going to be like that. They're going to be like that to you, and they will want to rip your legs apart. So you better muscle up. You better muscle up.
But this is also the reason why, and I know there's some fans that think Nkunku will come in and he'll be the be-all and end-all. He'll be the guy that fixes it. He'll get all the goals. Like, no. Don't put him in that situation where we stick him up top and rely on him for everything. It will end up in the same cycle that we've been in. He needs to have a striker that's also coming in that he can complement.
Correct.
That way it alleviates a little bit of him. He helps the striker out. They can do things together, but not individually. You can't rely on Nkunku to just rock up and be Haaland. It's not going to happen. But if we get someone, a top striker in, I think you'll see Nkunku do well too.
No one player next season should be pressured to carry the team. It should be a combination of Sterling, Madueke, Mudryk, Nkunku, and that striker, whoever.
And this is probably why Felix, who I think, we'll see who here kind of really wanted Felix to stay, but I don't know. But Felix, a lot of people felt maybe could have played false 9, dropping in deep, but you'd have to play a 4-3-3 for that, because when you play 4-2-3-1, the 10's there. So Nkunku's in that space. And that just doesn't. It's same with Lautaro and Kai Havertz. These type of forwards, these type of strikers. I don't think that's the best complement for Nkunku. I think the best complement for Nkunku is an actual striker. I'm not saying someone who's service dependent and that can't drop deep, but someone in the mold of a Kane where they can. I was
just going to say Harry Kane.
They can. Everybody says Harry Kane because Harry Kane he's fucking unbelievable. Let's be real. But if they have to, they will. Say Nkunku makes a run down the channel or does go into the box and make a late run. They can swap but they also, if they don't have to, they know, okay, I'm in the box and I'll put the ball in the back of it. No problem. I can do that as well. So,
Matisse, is this why we may be linked with Vlahovic? Because that suits that character of Nkunku a lot more, as opposed to someone like Lautaro or
Hoyland as well. People have been speaking about.
Do you guys think that we should, go see out this season with Broja and David Datro Fofana rather than panicking?
Datro Fofana has gone on loan, and Broja,
but
we don't know,
because I don't want us to panic and get another striker for say 70-80 million and then he blanks and then we are stuck with him for another.
I agree with you, but I think if Broja,
we do need a striker.
if Broja wasn't coming off an ACL, because I also played with this a little bit because Lukaku, and you know how much I don't want him, but because Broja's coming off an ACL, you just can't expect him to start straight away. You can't. Like, he's going to take time to come back and rehabilitate, and his preseason, and rushing him back into the team would just be negligence. And then Datro for me needs a loan, I think, to a club that are going to play him week in, week out and actually develop him. For me, he'll probably end up becoming a profit player, to be honest. But
are there any 20-25 million strikers available in the market?
You're scared of spending a lot of money, isn't it? I get you.
Absolutely. I get PTSD.
I don't know. I mean, listen, Julian Alvarez was found from River Plate for 15 million or whatever it was. I'm not against scouting for sure, but we definitely need a striker, because I do believe that if we were to go with that forward line of those two players, I wouldn't be surprised if we missed out on Champions League qualification, because
100 million for Lukaku, 70 million for Morata, 29 million for Aubameyang. That's 200 million down the drain.
Yeah.
Send Lukaku and Havertz to Napoli. Ask them for Osimhen.
Not going to happen.
The thing is, Osimhen's not.
Now, if Benzema leaves, Real Madrid will have their eyes on Osimhen.
They're on that. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. What a club for Osimhen as well. What a club for Osimhen. Like,
that'd be outrageous.
Galactico as well and all that. Can you imagine?
Even Bayern Munich need a striker. So
I think they're going for Randall Moani.
They've also been linked with Vlahovic a little bit.
I honestly think Chelsea might end up with Vlahovic. No, Juventus, no Champions League.
Actually, the problem is there are clubs who are in need of a striker who are in a better position than us right now. That's the main problem.
A lot of people are saying Mitrovic. I personally I wouldn't want Mitrovic as our starting striker. I think in like a Giroud second choice battering ram kind of off the bench, different option, 100%.
Get Giroud back.
But as a first choice, I wouldn't want Mitrovic personally. But it's tough because all of the strikers, when you go through them, it is a bit difficult. Like Vlahovic, according to reports, is a player that a lot of the Chelsea. Yeah, go on.
What do you reckon, Ollie Watkins?
Depends on the price. How much
his price is going to be so high. I think Aston.
Would it be really high though?
It would. I think Aston Villa
easily
60,
70 million.
60, 70. Aston Villa will minimum 60 million. Minimum.
Let's be honest. If we're going to try and get a striker, we're going to have to fork out about 60. I would say no. Can we really prove someone for less?
Would you say Ollie Watkins is Premier League proven?
Well, he is.
Say so, right?
But I wouldn't want to spend.
But performing at an Aston Villa and performing at
Aston Villa finished a lot higher than us, bro.
Everyone finished a lot higher than us, bro. I'm writing this season off. This season never happened for me.
I wouldn't want to
didn't participate.
If Ollie Watkins was a bargain, okay, maybe I could entertain it but definitely not for 60, 70 million. I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that at all. He's not an elite striker. So all we're doing is signing someone for us to be frustrated, most likely, and in about a year's time where we're like, okay, well, now we need an elite striker.
Man, why did Ivan Toney have to go to William Hill and Ladbrokes, man?
Bruh, Ivan
Why did he
Toney,
decide to bear?
Ivan Ferguson obviously signs a new contract, but he's very young as well.
But Ivan Toney, that is a serious concern. That's not a joke no more. I know up until January he's suspended, but that gambling thing, but they've deemed him as an addict. Like you are an addict. You
He
need
bet against
help.
his own team multiple
Bro, he
times.
bet against multiple times. Every time he didn't play, he bet against his team. But he's not. He's not
I'm not
here.
in the starting 11. Like, screw you.
What
you
I
want
feel
my
is that we've lost all margin for error, to be honest, with the signings that we've made.
It's true.
Ollie
So
Watkins,
can't
it
fail.
has
I don't want any
it has to be
stopgaps as well.
absolutely on point.
I don't want
Whoever we
any more
sign as an
stopgaps. We've already done the Aubameyangs and we've had so many stopgaps all the time as well.
Ollie Watkins, 2 years left, and I know.
Matisse,
this is
I would
transfer
rather get
market.
a cheap stopgap than spend 120 million.
I know.
Yeah.
But
On
the
a
cheap stopgaps are also, I mean,
Cheap as in really cheap, like 15 to 20 million.
you're not
Here's
going
the
to get
thing.
anything good for that.
Oh, actually, Miz, go on.
Just quick stats. Ollie Watkins got 2 years left in his contract. Transfer market, I know we don't go about just saying what they have to say about price tag, but they're saying 32 million euros. That's not going to be fair, obviously. But 15 goals this season in the Premier League and 6 assists. Just putting it out there, man. Just putting it
Like
out
Marcus Thuram rejected,
for
like
me.
we sent him an offer apparently, and he rejected the offer. That's what.
I wasn't even that keen on him either, to be honest.
But a free transfer, nothing to lose.
He rejected us. He rejected us in January.
If Lukaku ends up staying at Inter, right, or how much do you think we'll get for Lukaku? He goes, he's not on a loan, he'll actually leave on a permanent. How much do you think we'll be able to get?
50.
Inter ain't buying him, Younes.
50?
We need minimum 60 to break even.
I don't need
58
to,
to
I
break
don't,
even.
I don't need to
How much
break
do you
That
think
ain't
we'll
happening.
get for him, though?
That's
Do-
not happening.
Can we accept and go, yeah, no worries, he's gone. How much do you think we'll get?
30.
From Inter Milan,
30.
Max.
Wow.
Max.
probably 40 max. No, they're not doing it, bro. They don't have this type
No,
of money.
not even 40. I think 30 max, maybe 25.
Oh my god.
The
Huge,
only
huge.
way we're going to be able to do something with Lukaku is if we get Andre Onana and Lautaro Martinez and then try and balance the books. By
I
saying,
don't even think Lautaro necessarily wants to leave. I think Lautaro
I
is
don't
always
think he does.
Lautaro is
I don't
always
think he
linked with clubs. Every single year he's linked with move away, and he always ends up
He is.
staying. Always ends up staying. So I think it's
And like one more point, now that Leicester are relegated, so that club will be raided. Any players that you're looking
nah.
like that we get
No.
right from.
Madison's too injury prone, and
I like Harvey Barnes, but he's also injury prone. Harvey Barnes a good player.
no. The only player I'm
Barnes
taking
is
from
good.
running the relegated sides is Lavia from Southampton.
He's got his eyes on Liverpool apparently.
Yeah,
He's
most
not
likely, yeah.
completely sold on Chelsea project either.
To be honest, the thing is with Lavia, as much as I like him, and I've seen some brilliant things from him this season, for a team that the average age is getting younger and younger, and
I like
Nah,
Ndidi a lot, to be honest.
Nah, yeah, but his stocks are fallen massively. Yeah, I couldn't. I've never rated Ndidi. Not Ndidi. I've never rated Tielemans. People are mentioning Tielemans. Absolutely not. I would not want Tielemans anywhere near this team. Tielemans is the exact profile I don't want in that midfield.
Madison's all right, Madison's not.
Get Jamie Vardy for some much needed shithousery.
we want to have a party. Get Jamie Vardy. Garulo in the comments, big up, says play Sam Kerr. Sorted. We found the answer. That's
She'll score goals,
she will probably score goals.
Nah. I think, yeah, for me, nah. I'm not really too keen on any of these options.
It's not
People are
looking
saying
good.
Rodrigo scored quite a few goals this season. Do you know who's a sneaky one? That people, I'm going to float this one, and I think you might shoot me for this, but I think this player still has potential, and I think this season has gone to a waste for him, and he's probably not even that highly rated by a lot of people in the chat. But I think he's a very good footballer. I think he's one of those sneaky ones. Scamacca. I think Scamacca's still a very good player.
He was Mikel Antonio had to say about Scamacca.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Guilty.
And I thought Antonio got that spot on.
He
I
did.
think
He did.
Scamacca. I think Scamacca is a very technical player, very good hold-up play, very good at linking up. And I think he's got a good ball striking technique, but I would worry about how many goals he could get us. Like, I'm not sitting here telling you that Scamacca is going to get us
we need,
20 goals. Yeah. Like, I feel like Scamacca could be like hopefully at a top team consistently starting, maybe like a 15-goal striker, I think. I don't know if he can go to 20, 25, but I think Scamacca is a good player. I do. And I think the fact that he's at West Ham and he hasn't played at all, and he doesn't fit David Moyes' style, if they win the Conference League on next Wednesday, and we know that he goes with an Antonio, a battering ram, etc., I think Scamacca's he's a risk. I'm not here to tell you that it's not a risk, but I think Scamacca's a very good player. I just want to get that in. I think that's a sneaky one.
Can I just say, because I've just seen in the chat, Scamacca hive. Wait, look, I don't want any more hives. All the hives.
Hives, bro.
Well, hive is a disguise word for Stan. I ain't doing any of it. Yeah, if you're in a hive, please disperse immediately.
You need to be sold. You need to be sold.
Honestly,
I don't know if he's injury prone. I don't know. If he is, then damn.
We have to. This is the thing. We have to understand, right? People look at strikers and go, okay, no, just tons of goals. There will be strikers that are not getting tons of goals that have the ability that could end up at a big club and start banging tons of goals. Sometimes it's the club that they're in that's holding them back. It can happen.
Yeah,
it's about identifying those players and being able to know or have, which benefits outweigh the risks the most. And Scamacca's an interesting one.
Younes, Thierry Henry is a classic example. Before joining Arsenal, Juventus, no one knew anything about Thierry Henry. Comes into Arsenal, no one really had any idea what type of player he's going to be.
Look at Drogba in Marseille. An example. He was good. Don't get me wrong. But it wasn't blockbuster, oh my God, this guy's going to kill it across the world. Like, no, once he ended up at Chelsea, boom. It happens. A
lot of people are saying that Vlahovic is kind of being held back at Juve and in a top team.
Vlahovic has had a lot of problems with the managers, and that we get a lot of
people feel like
that he gets. Yeah, he gets in all sorts with the manager, and the temperament is an issue. Do we need players like this in a rebuilding phase who have had the history of attitude issues? I don't think so.
They got that dog in them, huh? That Serbian dog in them.
Ramos. The thing is, the price as well. Like Ramos gonna be 80 million. I'm not keen on that one. People are talking about Jonathan David. I think Lille that wants 70 million for him or some nonsense. Again, not.
And I think Ramos would be good, but yeah, it's that much.
Moani, I think, was quoted at 100 million by Frankfurt. Maybe they'll drop it to 80.
I like Moani a lot.
I do like Moani. I
like him a lot, but the 100 million price tag just.
This is why I said someone like Scamacca, because it kind of went more towards Bubba's like don't pay too much money. Like Scamacca probably cost about 20 million, maybe 25 max.
Can we go and get Alvarez?
No, unfortunately.
You want Kovacic? You got Haaland. You're not playing. Come to Chelsea.
What about Balogun? Someone said.
Oh my days!
Take Balogun from Arsenal.
No, imagine just go and get Frimpong in that case.
Oh Lord! What brother from the brother the content creator Frimpong? He's a legend. He's a legend. Love Frims.
That's too funny, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's tough, guys, but I'll do a striker video at some point when the news maybe dies down on the weekend or something. But Højlund.
What do you think of Højlund? People hear Højlund and they think BTEC Haaland. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen enough of him, but the fact that his name kind of sounds like Haaland does definitely it makes me interested. Like just maybe this might be the second coming of Haaland. Isak is a very good player, man. Isak's a very good player. Would you pay in hindsight, before we wrap up, if Isak was available at Real Sociedad, but you had seen his new, like say you just come from the future and you've seen what he does for Newcastle, would you pay the 70 million for a player like that?
I'd be interested. But again, 70. But this is the reality of the market now.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying
you already had a Felix, like Felix is kind of a similar profile, right? Like what Isak does, what Felix brings you on the table. You already had a player of similar profile.
What kind of striker do you want, Bubba? Battering ram.
I wanted Drogba.
Yeah. He wants a Drogbaba.
I want to do the
Yeah, but
Oh, PYS.
they don't like.
What's he
Don't,
said?
they don't make him
They
make
don't
them like
him
Drogba
that
anymore.
Yeah, damn right, bro. They don't make
Bro, even a
Drogba.
Diego Costa, bro. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
who
Messi
else?
leaving. Messi leaving
Ooh.
PSG official.
Loftus Cheek
Bro,
update.
tell me
Get
he's
Messi
going to
in as a
Saudi.
false nine.
Tell me
He
he's
is,
going
he
to
is. He'll go
Saudi.
to Saudi. He is. I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm sure he'll go to
boys.
Saudi.
I was telling Younes yesterday
No,
in
but
the live stream.
I read the other day that Inter Miami are collaborating with Barcelona to get
Nah,
the move.
stop.
Apparently,
Inter Miami,
Inter Miami don't have any knowledge of this.
Oh,
So that's mad.
Boys,
Apparently, they're
that's-
shocked.
Next
That's-
season, we are going to Saudi for a short trip. We are watching Ronaldo. We are watching Messi. And Benzema is going to be
Benzema.
there as well. That's going to be a mad trip. I swear, we should think about that. Let's go to Saudi. Matisse, you're going to love the Shawarmas over there.
Are they going to
You
play for
will
the
love
same
it.
club?
No,
So
3 different
there'll be-
clubs.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
how
a
does this
rivalry.
work? Do Saudi kind of just like say you? Because I saw Benzema, they offered him a contract, right? It looks like he might go there, but they
Al
said you can
Ittihad,
pick
yeah.
you can pick any club, any city. How the hell does this work?
No, apparently Al Ittihad are the club that are going for him. But let's
actually, it is sponsored by the state there.
it's sponsored by the state. Exactly. It's the state that pull the strings,
Oh,
And
and,
then-
then
and-
you just go to whatever club.
and
Yep.
they would want all these players separate because
Yep.
it brings more eyes to each
It's
club
rivalry.
individually.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that brings
rivalry.
more views and that brings more.
So
Because
when
their
you
aim is
basically you're signing for Saudi, and then you pick any one of their feeder clubs.
Yep.
well, it's the 3 top clubs in Saudi, isn't it? Al Ittihad, who have become champions, they'll go for Benzema. Al Nassr already have Ronaldo, and Al Hilal will get Messi.
And I heard Al Nassr and Al
Kante.
Hilal, they're the rivals. Like they're the
They
two
hate
big
each other.
rivals.
Can-
So
can-
it's-
Ronaldo
Apparently,
and Messi.
Busquets is also linked with the move to Saudi.
Busquets
Yeah.
is linked as well.
Kante.
Kante as well. Kante. I think
Bro,
it'd be a good
I'm
move. I think
telling
that'd be
you,
a good
we're
move for
going
Kante.
They're
Saudi.
gonna kill it.
Us 4, we are going Saudi.
That could be a good
We've
move
got to
for
go to
Kante.
Saudi.
We're
That's
doing
mad.
a mad stream from there.
All you can eat Saudi.
The update was Loftus Cheek, London's first. So this is
Yep.
PYS. Understands Chelsea want as much as 20 million for Ruben. AC Milan and Chelsea are in talks, but Milan have been focusing on bringing in Kamada first. No fee agreed yet with Chelsea. Ruben has said his goodbyes to Chelsea players in the dressing room. I hope that deal does get wrapped up fairly swiftly because I think it's a good move for him, to be honest. So I've already envisioned Hernandez, Leao, and Loftus Cheek in that left side. And Lord Jesus, I will
Bro,
be there.
Loftus Cheek's
I will be there.
physicality and the way he drives, I think that would be blockbuster in Serie A. I really do think it'll be
I agree.
blockbuster.
I agree. I think he deserves. I want him to be a big part of a big club, and I think with after the injury, Serie A, he'd still be able to walk it in terms of the physicality, like you said. So, all right, let's wrap up on super chats, and then we're gonna wrap up, guys. Winter Surfer saying Galadog has got to go. No more Zoomies next season. This super chat says time to stop being sentimental. We have to be ruthless. No more room for mediocrity. Cans is naturally more gifted. Carnes is more naturally gifted than Mount. Just needs time. Poch liking Havertz over Felix is pretty scary. I'm not scared about it. I'd prefer he probably obviously liked Felix more, but Felix is a
lone player.
He's a lone player. He is a luxury player, and he is a player that off the ball was a little bit like kind of a free spirit, let's say. And we know Poch, he needs his 11 soldiers out there covering the distance. So it's not scary to me. It's not a surprise, but again, listen, I get where you're coming from because obviously Havertz is a scary individual. And I think if put it like this, Havertz is here, so he's maybe going to use him and he's going to try and get the best out of him. I don't think if Havertz was at another club, I don't think Poch would be demanding Havertz. That's the way I'll put it. I guarantee you, we only pay 50 to 55 million max. Still talking about this negotiation for Mason Mount. Listen, what will be, sir. But don't be surprised if your club break the bank because this is what you do. We scored 70 plus with this crap attack a year ago under Tuchel. Adding Nkunku and a top striker can help out, but only if we solidify midfield and control games better. Ugarte and Caicedo. On Ugarte, is everybody convinced on Ugarte? Because I'm not actually like completely convinced, but I do like him. And I do think the fee is good. And I do think in terms of market opportunity, it's a good one to get in early doors before you go for a Caicedo and before the market becomes midfielder rat race for all the other players that are basically in competition with Liverpool and Arsenal and everyone. Declan Rice, all these guys. So I do think it's a good one to kind of nip in the bud. But is everybody like 100% convinced on him, or is it just like kind of trust the board, trust Poch? And because that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, he looks good. The metrics look pretty good. The fee's not too bad, and Poch wants him, and the board look like they want him. So okay, fair enough.
I'm convinced.
Okay, you're convinced.
100%.
What are you
convinced?
More than you can believe. More than you.
I just don't know him well enough. But the games I have seen, he's played really well. He's played really well. The European League games.
How I look at it is him in combination. I don't look at Ugarte just on his own as a single entity. Exactly. Like, I don't think any footballer should be looked at that way, because it all comes down to structure. It all comes down to
system as well. Yeah.
System and how each individual combines with others. I look at it as combinations. So with him and Enzo, I think they all both complement each other. Enzo lacks that defensive qualities which Ugarte will bring. And Ugarte is not bad with the ball. Like, he's very, very technical. He's good at the ball. But Enzo further complements that with his exuberant ability with the ball. So I think them. And if you do want to go in a 3, Enzo, Ugarte, Caicedo, I think all of that trio, that's a good trio to work towards if we do want to play a 4-3-3.
The one thing with Ugarte, I've not seen in a while a DM who can be a DM, right? That is so technically gifted that almost looks like a 10 at times. You know, when have you seen a DM who will break legs and will play aggressive, but will not make players for fun? It's weird, but I love it. So I'm sold. And when you look at how I think he would protect Enzo and give Enzo that freedom, which is what I think is what stopped and halted Enzo, is the lack of freedom that he's had in this midfield with Gallagher and all these guys. Like, I genuinely think they will complement each other so well. So well.
Yeah, no, his statistics, I'm familiar with the statistics. I went through it in a midfield video, and I did say in that video that I felt like he was one of the best options purely because of when you put together everything in terms of price point, and you put together the release clause, that maybe the lack of negotiations that we have to do, and the fact that there's not as much competition. It is a strong move, and obviously Poch wants and the board wants, but it's going to be interesting to see if we sort out that wage situation, because we do need to get that wrapped up if we're going to do it, for sure. Let's see. What is there another bit of breaking news, or is this an old tweet, guys? I don't want to.
No, new. Chelsea had a meeting with agents of David Raya yesterday morning.
Oh, who is that? Oh, that what?
Goalkeeper.
Brentford.
Yeah.
Reps of Raya want Brentford to lower the price tag set at 40 million. He's on Chelsea's list.
40 is a bit too much.
I'm not so keen on that. Do you know what is with Raya? I used to, when I was watching him playing out from the back, I thought, oh, this guy's really good. And then people in my channel, like community, the comments, they were like, yo, just dig a bit deeper on some of those cross collection metrics and dig a bit deeper on some of those long shots. And I saw, oh shit. Damn. I don't know, man. Like, for me, I think
reincarnated, or
people said to me at the time, we can do better, and I do agree with them. I think we can do better. But the goalkeeper market is weird as well. There's not many top goalkeepers out there that are already available. But I don't want to spend 40 million on someone that we're not thinking is world class. I don't know. Man.
It's tough, man. The goalkeeper business. Look, I know our 3 that we've been linked with: David Raya, Emiliano Martinez, and Andre Onana. They all have certain level of flaws. Yeah, like Andre Onana, very good shot stopper, good distribution, but he's chaotic sometimes. He'll do some mad stuff at times. He'll come out of the box. He'll try and tackle in midfield. Like, you go, what are you doing? You're a goalkeeper, brother.
This is the African way, my friend.
Yeah, he's
This is
mad
how it
at
rolls.
times. He's mad. With Emiliano Martinez, do I need to say how mad he is? He is the epitome of madness and cockiness. And but I don't think his distribution is that great. He's a great shot stopper, but Emiliano Martinez's distribution. David Bryant's distribution is not bad, but similar to you, Matisse, I've had a lot of people in my channel say, he's like a Kepa. Long-range shots. Long-range shots is not going to be that great.
I don't want another Kepa, man.
So we have to be very, very... Mike Magnan, he's the standout. He is the standout at the moment. If there is...
I would take somebody that's just decent or competent on the ball if their cross collection and commanding of the box is brilliant and they're a great shot stopper and they're a great goalkeeper.
Bruno. Sevilla.
You know what, Younes? Bruno impressed yesterday. Bro, he took one right on the nuts as well from Tammy Abraham. Bro, and he got up like as if he didn't have any nuts. I don't know. He just got up.
The thing with
Good
Bruno
penalty
is, I
stopper
think,
as well.
His shot stopping and his ability to command is there. It's, for example, the one-on-ones, the duel, those sort of things. Then again, you ask for the protection of your defense, I guess. But overall, I think he's a decent goalkeeper, man.
We were also linked with Keylor Navas. We were also linked with Keylor Navas.
Yep.
Good goalkeeper, Keylor Navas, but once again,
very underrated.
He would be a stopgap. He would be a stopgap.
We should have got him in swap for Courtois when we missed out on Alisson instead of getting a Kepa.
Yeah.
When we lost Courtois to Real Madrid.
Yeah, back then. Yes. Why is everyone saying Alex Goldberg tweet? Is Alex in the know these days?
Are they're not stopping, are they?
Yeah. No, he's tweeted link to Patreon about the Mason Mount situation, but I think I want to speak to him anyway about this.
Just posted the truth on. Okay.
So, he posted the truth. The truth.
We shall see. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up. Miz, let the people know where to find you, bro. It's been a pleasure. Great show, quality indeed. The other side of the coin, very, very close to 23,000 big ones. Come on, let's get there together this summer window. I'm Fabrizio Romano, he don't sleep. Yeah, Miz don't sleep either at the other side of the coin. So you better put your notification. Yeah, like any breaking news, I'll be breaking that as well. So yeah, you best believe. Subscribe. There you are. And Younes, let the people know, bro. Let them know where to find you. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. Normal schedule. It'll be. I'm guessing it's going to be longer videos now. We might even hit half an hour at this rate. So, the amount of news that's popping up.
Might as well just do a stream, Younes.
Been a while. But no. Younes Talks Football. I'll give my latest, and also it'll be mainly Chelsea, but there'll be other bits and pieces of big news that happens elsewhere, and I'll give my thoughts on that as I normally do now. So yeah, Younes Talks Football.
And Baba, they don't make them like Baba anymore. Drogbaba, let people know where to find you, bro. Pleasure as always.
Great show, man. Drogbaba, same as on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Do follow me on Twitter. That's where it's going down.
Where it's all going down.
And,
that should be a tagline, bro. Do follow me on Twitter. That's where it's all going down.
And I have recently started some storytelling on my channel. So I will be covering some classic games, and there's a series that I've started from today onwards. 10 days, 10 Champions League stories. So if you're interested, please do check it out. So today I've just finished uploading Deportivo La Coruña's amazing comeback against AC Milan.
Wow, what a match that was. That 3-0, right? That 3-0 and then they came back 3-3.
Yes, and
Roy Mackay, I remember. Wasn't it Roy Mackay, the striker?
No.
Deportivo La Coruña.
No,
Roy
no.
Mackay
They
was the
had
striker.
Pandiani, Luque, Pandiani, and all those obscure players that we don't know nothing about. So that's why I had to
used to play for
Bayern.
Deportivo La Coruña.
He used to play for
He
Bayern.
did play for Bayern, but before that, I'm pretty sure he played. Oh, I thought it was that 3-3 where Roy Mackay played. Anyway.
And tomorrow's episode will be the most unlikely Champions League winners. So do keep an eye out on for that.
That's Chelsea 2012.
No.
Chelsea 2012 and also Porto, whenever they won.
No, wrong.
Oh wow. Are you
Red
going
Star
back even?
Belgrade.
Red Star Belgrade.
That's the one.
Oh, I got it.
Mad.
Yes. Mad one. When did they win it?
Oh, in
91.
like the 80s or no, 90s?
91.
91.
Red Star Belgrade, you know. Wow.
I mean, they were the champions from a nation which doesn't exist anymore. Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia.
Oh
yeah.
yes. Yes.
So that's a story in itself. I'm working on that
Yes.
video right now. Tomorrow it will be out around the
Oh,
same
that's
time.
being
So
watched.
That's
100%.
good. That's good, bro. Wow. And Matisse, let us know where we can find you.
You can find me right here. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Closing in on the 52k. And
Oh
more
my.
content to come. In fact,
Come
the video, I've got a video ready to release, but I'm just trying to time it because I don't want to release it and then breaking news comes. So I need to try and pick a quiet period before it becomes also irrelevant.
Is this the buy and sell?
Yeah,
loan?
it's to keep low and sell. So it's going to be interesting. I've called it the chopping board, the Chelsea chopping board. So yeah, we'll try and put it out today if it remains quiet enough. But yeah, I highly doubt that's going to be the case.
Do you know what? Just before you finish up, Matisse, I think Baba's the only one that's done this because I saw his video the other day. None of us three has done a review video like,
Of the season.
Of the season.
Everyone skipped it.
No.
I had it in my notes to do it. I had it in my notes to do it. Then I
React
decided
to your
no.
own Premier League predictions. React to your
No,
own.
I didn't even. I think I made them on the Big Six, and I can't even remember them anymore. But I'll do them properly on this channel next season, so I can react to them. But I was gonna
roasted myself.
I was gonna do a season review, but no.
I decided against it as well. I'm like, what am I going to review?
Yeah,
It'll be 10 seconds long. Hello, guys. Welcome to your season review.
You know what it was? Yeah,
It's a tragic season.
Do you know what it was? I felt such relief after the Newcastle game. I didn't want to go and relive all of the pain again.
Me neither.
I don't think I want that. I don't think the viewers want that. I just thought, do you know what? Let's just move on. Okay, Poch is here now, and the transfer stuff has started. Let's just move on.
You know what's mad? You know, every year the club actually do like a season review and they sell it in the megastore.
Yeah.
I swear, if they do one for this past season, they're criminals.
They won't.
That's theft at that point. That's I don't know, money laundering.
They might do it for the women's team. They might do it for the women's team, but
they should do it for the
women's team. 100%, absolutely. Yeah. But for the men, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. And if anyone buys it, you're a criminal.
It's final super chat
to kill yourself. Oh my god! Why would you buy that? That's torture.
This final super chat saying Leeds owner used Ellen Road as security for a loan of £26 million to buy Sampdoria.
Leeds owner used Ellen Road as security for a loan of 26 million to buy Sampdoria.
That's actually mad.
That's like that Inception stuff that we were doing last night. Matisse calling Younes, Younes calling me. Using a club to buy another club.
The rivals will be there. The rivals will be there for the Chelsea review. Yeah, I bet you would. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up. Like, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash up the likes. Subscribe to all the boys. Links are in the description. As always, Miz, what's the next milestone, brother? 25k.
2023, bro. Let's get there.
Guys, make it go and happen. Younes, I don't know what fat number you're
750,000. This
Not to be fair.
I can't even count that high.
150 is
150. That's
this brother just rocks up with his video, does a brilliant video. Yeah, 71,000 views. Me, I break my sweat and I try and do research this, that. 5,000, 6,000. Somehow I managed to get there. Like, yeah.
We were Drogbaba. You can vouch for this as well. Yeah, we were there at 1.2. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
We were there.
You got to be in love with the graft.
You have to go through the process.
All we need to do is get that 100K.
Trust the process.
This is the one time you have to trust the process.
This is the one time you trust the process.
Let's be honest. The boys, us four, we gave it everything.
We gave it all. We gave it everything.
Give it everything.
There you are, guys. Big up to the chat. Big up to the community. As always, the All You Can Eat Chelsea community is thriving right now. You guys leaving some great chats. Yesterday, I was getting absolutely destroyed with loads of bots just saying bullshit. But today, it's been a good chat. I don't think I've even had to even block anyone. So it's beautiful. Until next time, big up your damn souls in a bit, people. Peace.